All right, here it comes.
With the seventh pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Panay.
Yes! Let's go! Thank fucking Lord.
There's the moment. Danny Sewell hears his name called, surrounded by family. He's on his way to Detroit. Started 20 games before.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Motown Sports Talk Podcast. And what's up, Micro Mike? I see you in the chat already. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you as always, man. So, if you couldn't tell, that was our reaction to the Panay Swell drafting. We were both very excited and could not believe he even fell that far. We for sure thought that Cincinnati was going to take him, but they ended up going with the wide receiver and Chimar Chase, pairing him up with their old Joe Burrow's old teammate. So he dropped us, and we couldn't be more than excited to have him.
Absolutely steal at 7.
Exactly. So, yes, once again, we'll get into the full draft breakdown in a second. But, again, welcome into everyone. Obviously, this is the Motown Sports Talk Podcast. So, yes, the draft is finally over. 2021. And, again, I feel like I've been waiting for this since Patricia's been fired. I've been waiting for this for a long time. So, glad. There was so many question marks. Like, were we going to take a quarterback at 7? Were we going to do, like, there was just so many question marks. And now it seems like.
Were we going to trade up? Or are we going to trade back?
Exactly, like to get more picks, like what were we going to do? So it's good to finally have the whole thing done and over with and know where the team stands as of right now and what direction we're trying to move forward. And as I said all along, we're not going to take a quarterback. I did not think we were going to after we traded. Again, we didn't trade that much, but we traded just Stafford for Jared Goff. When we traded for him and 2 first-round picks, it's like, we're going all in. There's no reason to take a chance on a rookie quarterback because you look at all these and you look at almost every NFL draft. There's usually 2 to 3 quarterbacks who are going to be studs and stars and blah, blah, blah. And maybe 1 or 2 of them, sometimes 3, but usually only 1 or 2 end up actually be going on to be successful for 10 plus years. And again, you have so many question marks with rookies. So I think it's just the right idea to stick with Jared Goff and move him forward. But moving that aside, we'll get into that all here in a little bit. Dalton, what were your thoughts on just the draft, like in general this year, like as compared to last year, where it was all the virtual, everything was from home, everything was all digital. It was really weird. So how'd you think they did it this year?
I loved it. Obviously, it was nice to see a lot of the draft picks actually walk across the stage and hug the commissioner.
Yeah.
And obviously booing of the commissioner every year. It's
of course
the annual thing. So it felt really nice to see all of that, and it just felt way better than last year's draft.
Exactly. And what's up, the Beast Black? Hey, how are you doing? Thanks, man, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah, but this year's it was definitely glad. I was glad to have things back to normal. Like you said, it was great to see the draftees actually walk across the stage, get to have that interaction again, because I felt so bad for them last year when it's like you work your entire life to get to that point, to get to the draft, to hear your name called and walk across, and everyone was at home last year, which I understand. There's a lot of people, like my wedding was pretty much canceled because of the virus, and there's a lot of people whose lives and everything was ruined because of it, but yeah, just
and there was still some players that stayed home, like always, for the draft, and they didn't want to go, which
there's always that every year.
More power to all.
It was just good.
We still got to see lots of players walk across the stage, which was amazing.
It was really entertaining. The one thing I didn't understand was the whole Goodell chair on the stage.
Yeah, that was confusing.
I heard a rumor it was going to be like moved around randomly throughout the thing. But turns out it was just on stage the whole time. They just brought random fans on throughout the thing. Thought that was kind of weird. Anyways, yeah, other than that, like I said, I thought it was really well presented. I was happy with it overall. I was pretty entertained. The kind of played out exactly as we thought it was. I mean, I guess as far as entertaining, there wasn't a lot of...
Other than the Bengals, we did get the Bengals pick wrong, because we definitely thought Bengals were going offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Justin Fields was a pretty huge thing too, but the rumor came out like I think 2 days before the draft that it was between Mac Jones and Trey Lance that Justin Fields is pretty much out of the picture for the 49ers. And so again, that could have just been them blowing smoke, but that was reported, so we knew it was either going to be Jones or Trey Lance. They ended up going with Trey Lance, and they still have Jimmy Garoppolo, so that kind of makes sense that they can just sit him for a year and let him or half a year, whatever, if Jimmy Garoppolo was terrible, but they still have him, so Trey Lance doesn't have that pressure of coming in and starting immediately. And then obviously the Falcons took Kyle Pitts, which we kind of predicted that in our last episode when we broke it down. And then same thing with the Ja'Marr Chase. Again, we kind of predicted that as well. It was kind of known. We said it in the last episode that not many people actually want to go to Cleveland. And Ja'Marr Chase came out and said he wants to go to Cleveland and be with Joe Burrow. So if you have somebody who wants to be in Cincinnati, you take them.
Yeah, you said Cleveland.
Sorry, it's Ohio. Whatever. They're both in Ohio. Same shit. But yeah, either way, no one wants to be in Ohio. So if you have somebody who wants to go there, play for your team, then you take them. So yeah, Cincinnati went with Ja'Marr Chase, and then
Jalen Waddle went to the Miami.
Thank you. I could not for the life of me remember who went next. I don't know why. Yes, they took Jalen Waddle, who was the wide receiver I wanted. I have been very outspoken about him, that I was wanted him from the start, basically. If we were going to take a wide receiver, he is who I wanted.
Also, another interesting thing that happened in the draft was the Eagles trading up with the Cowboys to jump in front of the Giants to draft Devontae Smith.
Yeah, that was.
So it's like the Cowboys traded with a division rival, but also screwed over another division rival by doing it. So I guess it was a win-win situation for the Cowboys because they still got Micah Parsons, which is a good pick for them, saying that Sean Lee just retired. So
exactly, it makes sense, and you called it beforehand too. You even said that they were going to take him. So, again, it was a smart pick for them. It makes sense that they're going to go with safety, or not safety, linebacker. But yeah, so then we took. It dropped down to us at 7, and again that left Penei Sewell right there in our hands. Thank you, Penei Sewell. I don't know why I can't get that right. But yeah, left him right there for us. And again, obviously you had to take it. Some people are kind of mad that it was the safe pick and blah, blah, blah. But we've seen it before. We saw it. Everyone watched the Super Bowl. Literally, that is where you live and die, is in the trenches. Your offensive line and your defensive line. You can have the best quarterback in the entire league in Patrick Mahomes, but if you don't put a good offensive line in front of him and protect him, he's not going to have time to throw. He's not going to have time to do anything. He can't scramble out of every single play every single time. So you saw it. You have to have a good offensive line, and especially we know Jared Goff has to have good, nice protection around him.
That's what I was going to say. If you've watched Jared Goff's time in L.A., he was at his best when he had protection and time.
Yeah, and a play-action pass, like a good run game from the play-action pass. So us drafting Penei Sewell, we now have Frank Ragnow, which was an All-Pro, Taylor Decker, one of the better tackles in the league, and then Penei Sewell, which everyone says is a future Hall of Famer, like the number one prospect in the draft, like. Yeah. The only issue is he's never played right tackle in his career, and same thing with Taylor Decker, has never played right tackle his entire career. So obviously we're all assuming, since we've already paid Taylor Decker the huge left tackle money, that he's going to have to transition over to right tackle throughout camp and learn how to play that position.
Or possibly they just go into training camp and put them at right tackle and left tackle, like whichever one. After a little while, they switch them just to see how it works and see which is better for which, and see if
they might experiment a little, but this isn't a Matt Patricia type scheme, so they might not be doing that, trying everyone out at different positions. But who knows? It would be smart, like you said, just to see which one can perform better at right tackle, just to give them both a little bit of reps to see how they perform. But yeah, if he does go at right tackle, then like you said, we have 3 pretty much solidified starters for the next 10 years.
Joe Jackson did really well too, and so obviously he's going to be one of the guard positions. So honestly, and we're pretty deep at offensive line, I feel.
Yeah.
So
And Chris Burke on Twitter posted Taylor Decker is pretty much the oldest of our offensive line at 27 years old. Then you have Frank Ragnow is 25, Jonah Jackson at 24, and then Penei Sewell is only 20 years old. So again, and we just extended Taylor Decker, so this group could be together for the next 5, 6, and if we again want to extend them and keep them together, maybe 7, 8 years playing
and we
together.
still also have Terrell Crosby, which I think he was more of a tackle, but he did play guard.
Yeah, he can play guard too. He's one of those players that we kind of just plug and played anywhere last year that we needed someone on the offensive line.
So he could be that other guard position, and that'd be a pretty good O-line, because I'm pretty sure he's still even like 20. I think he might be like 25.
Yeah, he's pretty young too, in his mid-20s as well.
I was gonna say that'd be, and if we put him on the side of like Penei Sewell, they both came from Oregon, so they could have that Oregon connection, and we could have one of the best O-lines in the league.
Yeah, I think no matter what, we're going to have a top 10, maybe even top 5 offensive line this year, if everyone can stay healthy. We know Taylor Decker's had, not a lot, but he's had a couple issues, and Frank Ragnow has stayed healthy most of his career. He did have the little...
Tank.
Yeah, he played through his that neck throat injury he had last year and wasn't able to talk, but I think he only missed...
Still continued to play, yeah. He missed one game.
Yeah, one game because of it, and then still able to play through it and everything, so he's one tough son of a bitch. So, yeah. Like I said, our offensive line, if they can stay healthy, it's going to be a top 10, top 5 offensive line. And as we mentioned, Jared Goff performs best when he has protection, and same thing with DeAndre Swift. When we can make room for DeAndre Swift, Jamal Charles, and then we even have Jamal Williams, sorry. I was going really old school on the Chiefs.
That sounds like,
Jamal Charles back there.
He's a couple years ago, brother.
Yeah, just a few, but so yeah, Jamal Williams, and then again we have Kerryon, who's one of the best blocking running back in the league. So everyone thought we were going to cut him in the offseason.
I still think we might.
Again, he might be a training camp casualty. He could be, but I just, like you said, with Deuce Staley,
drafting Chimar Jefferson in the 7th round, I thought about that, and I was like, he possibly might take that third running back position from Kerryon, and Kerryon might get cut after training camps.
He could. That is a good question, but we'll get into it.
More towards training camp, towards regular season.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of training camp battles. So, yeah, I guess let's get into it. Obviously, we just broke down Penei Sewell. I don't know why I want to call him Swell. And then we have Levi Onwuzurike. I believe
He wants to fuck people up.
Yes, he does. I hope I pronounced that right. And, yeah, he basically said in his post interview or whatever, he's like, I just want to come in. I just want to fuck people up, basically. He was Chris Sims' #1 defensive tackle in the draft, for what that's worth to anyone. He is a little bit undersized for a normal defensive tackle who's usually over 300 pounds. He's right around, I think, 290 or something, but he is still extremely strong. If you watch some of his film, he moves offensive linemen around like they're nothing. I know, again, that's college film and everything. When you get to the NFL, it's different, but still, he can move people for his size and his weight. He's still a really big guy. He's just kind of slim, again, for that how big he is. So,
but also might be better, too, because he'll have more speed than, say, 300-pound guy, too.
Exactly. And he's coming out. He got drafted as a defensive tackle, but that doesn't mean that we might not move him into more of a defensive end, outside linebacker type pass rusher. That he might just specialize in that. So we'll see how his career ends up unfolding. So then in the 3rd round, the 72nd overall pick, we took Aleem McNeil, another defensive tackle out of NC State, who everyone says this guy is like the premier nose tackle. He is going to be a solidified nose tackle for 5 to 10 years in the NFL. He lined up over the center 87% of snaps in his college career, which is a lot. Like, you got to be really tough to just keep lining up over the center every single play. So I'm kind of excited about him. I know we're going to be using a 4-3, I think, a little bit more this year. So it'll be interesting if we're just going to use 2 inside defensive linemen like that, big guys, to just kind of shore up the interior. But yeah, going back to what I said at the beginning, we all watched the Super Bowl last year. We all watched Mahomes run around. That's literally the blueprint to be successful in the NFL against the best offensive teams in the NFL, no matter what. Even when it's going towards more of the offensive scheme, the passing game, and everything like that, you still, if you can get good pass rushers, if you can disrupt the timing on the offense and everything, if you can get to the quarterback, then you're going to have success, like I said. And then if you can protect your quarterback, if you can protect against that defense and give him time and give your running back time to run, then you're going to be successful. That's it. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the first few picks. And like I said, I think that's great because I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling on right now. I'll let you talk in a second, Dalton. But this is a retool. Again, we're not going to be competitive this year, no matter how many people want to gripe and complain and even whatever. We're not going to be competitive this year. I mean, maybe if Aaron Rodgers somehow leaves the league, we might turn into the NFC East where we're all just scraping by and we might get into the playoffs.
Minnesota's winning the division. Minnesota's team's way too good to not be good this season.
Yeah, again, we'll see how Kirk Cousins performs. But either way, I'm just saying, we're not.
Doesn't matter how Kirk Cousins performs.
Okay, that's what I'm
winning.
saying. Yes, the Lions are not going to win the division. We're not going to make the playoffs. This is a retool, and we're building for the future here. Again, these are all pieces that are going to help our team be good. You solidify the offensive and defensive line, and then you build around them. Then you build your linebackers, your wide receivers and stuff, which people are mad that we didn't take a wide receiver until the 4th round. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, yeah, like I said, I think it was smart. Just you got to solidify both your lines, and then you just build out from there.
So what I want to say is we went from having our defensive line that was probably one of the worst things on our team, not getting any pass rush, not stopping the run, not really doing anything.
Exactly.
Just kind of being there, other than Romeo Cora. And then Brad Holmes comes in and completely changes that, and now our defensive line is probably one of our more depth units on our team, and is going to be a great unit this year.
Exactly. Like I was saying about our offensive line, if they can stay healthy, our defensive line is going to be just as scary as the offensive line, because we still, like you said, we have Romeo Okwara coming back, who had a beast year, just got a huge contract. Hopefully Trey Flowers can stay healthy again, and when he's healthy, he can still perform amazingly well. Then we have Deshaun Hand, who, again, when he's healthy, he can be an amazing interior lineman. So, and then who am I missing? Julian Okwara, obviously, Romeo's brother, who, again, all these guys can stay healthy.
Deshaun Hand.
I said Deshaun Hand.
Oh, I didn't hear you say him.
Yeah, I said Deshaun Hand, Julian Okwara. What the hell are you doing?
Take my ankle brace off.
And then, yeah, who else do we have? We're bringing back on the offensive line.
Offensive or
defensive line? Thank you. John Pennicini, yes. That's another guy we're bringing back. Another guy we drafted last year, 2nd-year guy, so we can see if he can improve on his playing time that he got last year. So, and then we bring in these 2 guys to, again, kind of shore up and just give more depth to our defensive line. So, I'm excited. I think it's going to be amazing.
So am I. So getting into it, our 4th round picks.
Hey, we still got our another third round pick, brother.
We already talked about him.
Afute Milan. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but he was our 3rd round pick. This was our compensatory pick from the LA Rams for getting up Stafford, and it was 101st overall, and he's a cornerback out of Syracuse. Yeah. I don't really know much about him. I watched his highlights. He obviously looks like he's a good player. He's a ball hawk. He's extremely fast. He's good at coverage. I'm not sure if he's going to be more of a slot or the outside cornerback, but
I didn't necessarily understand the pick because, at least to me, I feel having a Kuda and a Warrior are pretty good, so unless we're using him in the slot, I don't necessarily know why we'd sign him.
Well,
or
again,
draft
obviously,
him, especially in the third round.
yeah. Again, I think we definitely need somebody opposite Okuda. Again, Okuda needs to stay
A
healthy.
Warrior.
Yeah, but I don't know if Awori is a top cornerback. I know he's good, but
I would put him over Akuda. I'd rather have him over Akuda right now.
Again, you got to let him develop. I don't know. It's all up for debate. We're going to have to let it all play out. But moving on to the fourth round, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Finally, we took a wide receiver on the third day out of USC. 112th overall pick. We didn't trade up for this pick. We actually had this pick. The funny thing is about this kid, they're kind of like the Ball brothers of the NFL. If you look into them, there's kind of like a short HBO piece on YouTube. It's actually how I found it after we drafted him. I just looked him up. I found it. The oldest brother currently plays in Green Bay right now. He's not really used too much. He only played a couple games last year in 2020. In 2019, I think he was off the entire year for an injury, and then the year before he only played again a few games and had a few receptions. So he's not making a big name out in Green Bay, but he does currently play for them. He's still signed to them. Obviously, then we just drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, who played for USC, and then they have another younger brother who I'm not exactly sure where he plays. I want to say Syracuse, but I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. But yeah, he's a wide receiver as well, who is probably going to be drafted either next year or I think it's going to be next year. He's going to be eligible for the NFL draft. So it's possible, again, that all three of them could be in the NFL. Their dad is a former bodybuilder, former Mr. Universe, so he has been working them out and making sure that they are on top of their game for sure. And then other little piece that came out about him the night after the second day, because he was projected as, I think, a second or third round pick. Once he didn't get drafted on the second day, he was actually saw at midnight working out, which I don't know if that was just his dad forcing him to because he didn't get drafted, or again him just out of spite going to work out and show everyone that what they're missing on. So we took him 112 overall. What do you think about him, Dalton?
I absolutely love the pick. He's going to be a great fit, possibly a top wide receiver on our team this year. I could see him by the end of the season being our number one wide receiver. I mean, unless Cephas comes out and has just worked out tremendously this offseason and comes in and is a completely different person, maybe we could have Cephas and him as our 1 and 2.
I mean, we still have Rashad Perryman and
Trey Williams.
Thank you. I don't know why I forget about him every single time.
That's why I'm not saying they're probably going to be our 1 or 2, because obviously this Lions fan doesn't even remember him. So
exactly, but I don't think Cephas is going to come and be a number 1 or 2. I think he's going to be more of a slot. I do think it's possible Amon becomes a second overall wide receiver, but I think the first one's probably going to either be Perryman or Williams. We're going to have one of those guys is going to be the number 1, unless we somehow trade or bring somebody else in during training camp. I'm not sure.
Julio.
I wish, but
I don't want Julio.
That'd be way too much, and plus he's getting up there. He's only got a few more years left in it.
I was gonna say I don't want a washed up Julio. I can't say washed up. Don't come at me.
He's still one of the best wide receivers, but that's what I'm saying. He's on the end of his career. He ain't getting better as a wide receiver, so. But yeah, and then we traded up immediately after that from Carolina into the fourth. We traded up for the pick right after that at 113 from Carolina, who then took linebacker Derek Barnes out of Purdue, who, again, this guy I'm really excited about. I'm surprised he ended up falling to the 4th round. Again, he was, I think, a 2nd round, 3rd round projected guy, but he is more of a run stuffer, more of kind of like what Gerard Davis used to be, kind of like that type of player is what he reminds me of, but I think a little bit more athletic, and hopefully he'll have a little bit better vision on the run pass coverage.
He's the older tradition linebacker type, but he has today's athleticism.
Yes, he's
very fast and can change routes very fast, and he could have a long 10-year career in football if he can continue to work and improve on the intangibles and becoming a good linebacker.
Exactly.
Which, being in Detroit, you're probably going to get a lot of playing time at linebacker position, so he can work on it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope he can be a Darius Leonard type player who can come in and have like an immediate impact. I mean, I know Darius Leonard was a second-round pick, but still, let's just hope he can have that type of energy and fuel our defensive line, our linebackers a little bit more than they already are. So then moving on to our last pick, our 7th round pick, because we traded up to the 4th and we took Chimar Jefferson, running back out of Oregon at 257 overall.
Oregon State.
Thank you, Oregon State. This one was a little confusing. As me and Dalton were just talking, we're just saying that it's possible we could be cutting Kerryon Johnson, blah blah blah. But it's just weird that with Jamal Williams, Kerryon, DeAndre Swift, that we would bring in, like, draft somebody 7th round. And I know it's not normal that 7th rounders even usually make the team most of the time, so it's possible he might not even make the team. But as Dalton just alluded to, we could cut Kerryon if he's actually that much better. We did let Jason Huntley, didn't we draft him in like 6th or 7th round last year?
I think so.
Yeah, and everyone.
I'm not necessarily. I've kind of blocked out the Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn era. It's just not there. It goes from Jim Caldwell to Bob Quinn and Dan Campbell. Or Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
Exactly.
So I guess I haven't necessarily blocked it out completely. But, I mean, from watching his his press conference after being drafted, I absolutely love it because he said he thought he was going to be a 4th, 5th round pick, not all the way to 7th, and being the 3rd to last pick in the NFL draft. He was already getting ready to start talking to teams about being an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
But then obviously Detroit called him and said they were going to make him a Lion, and he has a chip on his shoulder now, and he's going to run with 100% anger and give the Lions 100% of everything he's got every time he touches the field, has the ball. And also, he was saying that he didn't do special teams in college, but he was at every special teams meeting because his positional coach told them that most rookies, their rookie season, are going to be special teams players. And that's how you're going to get the trust in your coaches and the trust to be on the field and everything. So he didn't do special teams. I think he said he's only done 2 kickoff returns in college. So he wasn't on special teams, but he was in every meeting, learning it, knowing how to do it, and stuff like that. So I could see him being a special teams player this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's what most rookies, especially late rounds, that's how they even make it in. We know Adam Thielen started off as a special teams guy. I think he was another late round guy. I don't remember. I think 4th, 5th, maybe in 6th round. And he started
was a 6th round.
Yeah, and then he started on special teams, and he did so well that he ended up getting some time on offense. And now he's a full-time, I wouldn't say top 10, but he's one of the better wide receivers in the league. I'd say top 15 probably up there. He's probably definitely the number 1. I mean, I guess Justin Jefferson, but he's still probably number 1 right now until Justin Jefferson can continue to produce every year in and year out. Yeah. So I guess that's it. We're probably going to call it. What was that?
We signed a lot of undrafted free agents, too.
Yeah, we're going to go through that here in a second. That's what we're going to probably wrap it up here soon. Thanks again, Micro Mike, Beast Black, for tuning in. If you guys have any questions or anyone else tuning in's got any questions, drop them down. Let us know. We're happy to answer them just about the draft or Lions in general. Yeah, I don't have the list of undrafted free agents. Do you have them?
I can get it.
I can get it too, brother. But so how do you feel about the draft overall right now as it stands?
Absolutely love it.
I'm just happy that we know more of what direction the team's going in. Again, instead of wondering if we're going to take a quarterback, sit him behind Jared Goff, blah, blah, blah. people were saying we might take Najee Harris in the first round, like trade back and take him. It's just there were so many questions, so many rumors and shit going around that it's just happy to finally know which way we're heading.
Oh yeah, this whole draft class, I absolutely love it. Okay, I got the list.
All right.
So we signed linebacker Trevante Beckett.
Yes.
Sorry, the list I'm looking at doesn't give me what colleges.
Jesus.
But sorry, I'm gonna butcher these names. Wide receiver Jonathan Adams Jr., a cornerback AJ Parker, another wide receiver Sage Surratt,
Out of Wake Forest.
a defensive back D'Angelo Amos,
Out of Virginia.
a tight end Brock Wright. I believe he's from Notre Dame.
Brock Wright?
Yeah.
Yes, Notre Dame.
Yep. Running back Derek Mills.
Nebraska.
Running back Rakeem Boyd.
Out of Arkansas.
And he's one of, if you've seen the Netflix show The Last Chance U, he's one of the Last Chance U stars from that show. So, center Drake Jackson. I believe he was from Duke.
I do not. Oh, yep. No, he's from Kentucky.
Kentucky. I knew it was a blue team. Cornerback Jerry Jacobs.
Out of Arkansas.
Wide receiver Javon McKinley.
Out of Notre Dame.
O-lineman Tommy Chimar.
I don't see him. Must not have updated.
It might be a guard. Might be an offensive guard.
I'm not seeing him on this one.
Okay, and then tight end Jake Hussenman.
Out of Ohio State.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Which, honestly, the Javon McKinley, I remember seeing a few highlights of him from Notre Dame. I don't know too much. Honestly, I don't really know too much about any of these guys. But the only one I do know for sure is Javon McKinley. Like I said, I remember seeing him, a few of his highlights. So he might be someone who actually ends up making the team. Again, because we're pretty short on wide receivers. And if he can have a standout training camp, he might end up making the team.
And preseason, because there is 3 preseason games this year.
Yeah, so again, he might actually have a chance this year.
I would also say expect us to sign another quarterback. Or do we still have what's his name under contract?
David Blau. I want to say we have David Blau under contract, but I'm not. Yeah, he's still under contract with us.
So, okay, yeah. So then our 3 quarterbacks going into the year is going to be Jared Goff, Tyler Boyd. Is that his name?
I believe so.
And then David Blau. So, maybe we might sign a 4th quarterback just because I don't know if we necessarily want to play Jared Goff too much in the preseason. Just because, like, it's kind of like a Stafford thing. Like, he's going to be your starter week 1. Why? Maybe like for a couple drives, 1 or 2, maybe 3 drives, just to get the rust off. I know he had the injured thumb last year, so maybe just make sure that thumb in a game situation is good.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think we're fine at quarterbacks for now. Again, unless we get hurt, maybe another training camp arm just to compete.
In the preseason. That's what I'm saying. Compete against David Blau for that 3rd QB position.
Yeah, possibly just to
or
push
a quarantine QB if we need one of those again this year.
Yeah, you're right. I guess it is a good idea to have a 4th quarterback because if something happens, who was it that didn't have a quarterback last year? The Broncos. Yeah. The Broncos literally started some random ass.
A punter. I'm pretty sure it was like a punter.
Or some random, it
was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
It was a wide receiver that played quarterback in high school or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're the starter this week, so
Exactly. And that's the thing. If one of them catches COVID, normally they're all in the group, they're all together, so they're all going to catch it or all have to quarantine. So it's like, it might be a good idea to have a fourth quarterback as like a stash away guy or something. But, well,
I mean, unless
what
everyone's
they did,
vaccinated. So
yeah, I don't know.
there
We'll
might,
see. But then, like you said, we might do. I know we did this last year with a few players. Bring a bunch of players in during training camp, have them learn the playbook and use them as much as we can, and then cut them. And then again, if we have injuries or anything, possibly bring them back, and they already know the playbook and everything. So,
yeah,
but
could see that.
all right, I think we're gonna call it. Dalton, is there anything else you wanna say?
No.
You're starting to cut out. You're getting really blurry. I don't know what's going on with your internet or something. So, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I am. Jesus.
All right. Well, again, thanks, the Beast Black and Micro Mike for stopping in. We appreciate it. Everyone else who stopped by, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna be here every Sunday, 8:30, going live from here on out till the season starts. Maybe even during the season. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah. So as of right now, every Sunday, 8:30, we'll be here. Hopefully, we will see you again next week.